Okay, we're going to continue our discussion on how to find the equation of ellipses. Once again, going through, we have two problems. This is from the question number 7. We're going to find the equation of ellipse. We have vertices at 2, 0, and 2, 4, and foci at 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the equation of ellipse, the first thing we want to do is we want to find our center. Okay, now to find the center, we can identify anything because the center is located in the middle between the vertices or the foci. So in order to find the center, we're going to find, I'll just use the vertices because we're going to find the center by taking the two vertices and find the midpoint. How do you do that? You take your x's, add them together, divide by 2. Take your y's, add them together, divide by 2. And what you get is our center is going to be located at 2, 2. All right, so that is our center. Now from there, next thing we want to do is, in order to find our equation, we got to figure out what our major axis is. Now our major axis can be determined by looking at the vertices or the foci, okay, and find out what changes. Well, in this case, you see that in both of these, the y changes. Therefore, the major axis is vertical. Now that's important because as we go through and write this out, all right, we're going to have x minus 2, x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 1. And now the question is, where is our a squared and b squared going to lie? Well, in this case, because our vertices, the y value is changing, we're going to have our a squared under y because that means it's going to be vertical. Our b squared is going to be under x. Okay. You can also do this by simply graphing the function. Move this down. All right, if we started graphing this, we could see, okay, 2, 2, 1, 2. Right here, we have 2, 0. That's our one vertice, and then we have 2, 4. That's our other vertice. And we know this has to be like that, so that's our major axis. We have 2, 1. And then 2, 3 is our foci right there. So there's our foci. All right, and there's our center right there on vertices. Okay, now from here, we want to figure out our a value. Now, the vertices, now this is very important. The vertices, okay, to find the a value, we have to look at the vertices. And the a value is the distance from the center to the vertice, or one vertice. So you can either a, take that and just count, right? We have 2, 2, we go 2, so it's going to be 2 in both directions. That's what we got. All right, that's how you find the vertice. So in this case, we're going to have a squared is going to be 4. So make sure you square that when you put in there. Now, next thing is our b value is from the minor axis. Now, we don't know anything about the minor axis, or minor points, but we do know something about the foci. All right, the foci is the c value, and we can realize that the c value, we're going from center to the foci, we see that c value is equal to 1. Well, in doing so, and figuring that out, all right, we can now find the b by taking this equation. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. So if we take 1 squared, which is 1, equaling a squared, which is 4, minus b squared, we will realize that we have b squared is going to equal 3. So we take our b, squared, we have to put that in there. B squared is going to be 3, and that is our equation of the ellipse. All right. Once again, we found the center, major axis, determine their a values and b values that help us determine where their a squared and b squared is for the major axis, and then we figure that out. Well, let's try another one. That was a little rushed, but let's try another one. We have an ellipse. Equation of ellipse. Once again, we're getting the vertices, and we're getting the foci. Okay. Find the center. We can take the vertices and find the values. So we have this right here. This can be 0 is the y of the center. And then we have negative 3 plus 7 divided by 2. That's going to be 2, 0, and that's going to be our center. Okay. So over here, we can just go x minus 2 squared plus y minus 0, which is just y squared, equals 1. Don't forget that. And now our question is, where does the a squared and b squared go? Well, that determines our major axis. You can look at that by figuring out which one changes. Well, if you look at both of these, the vertices, we notice that the x changes, so it's going to be horizontal. We also could graph this and determine how that is, and you can see that also is confirmed by the foci where the x is also changing, so it's horizontal. That means a squared is here, b squared is under the y. All right, unlike the previous one with the vertical, all right, where the a squared was under the y and so on and so forth. But now then the question is, where is our a? Well, our a, once again, is our vertices. So looking at our vertices, we have to figure out what is the distance from, all right, the center to one of the a values. Well, if you take that, you notice that we're starting at 2, and we're going to 7. So 2 minus 7 is a is going to equal 5. You can also graph this out and figure this out. Go to 1, 2, there's our point, change the color, and then find another point on the vertice, which is -3, 0. -3, 0. Then we go over here. 1, 2, 3. So how far is that? That's one vertice. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's our other vertice. What's the distance from here to here? That's our a. From the center to the vertice, in both these cases, is a. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a equals 5. So now we take this a squared, and that's going to equal 25. Now let's find b. Well, once again, we're not given anything in the minor arc, but we are given the foci. The foci are right here at 0, 0, and here's another one at 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0. Here's my foci, here's my other foci. So what is the distance from the center to the foci? Well, that's our c value. C equals 2. So our foci, using that, we find out that c equals 2. Well, we can find our b value, which is our minor point, and that's b. We can use b squared, or a. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. Plug those values in. And what we have then is c is 4 equals a squared, which is 25, minus b squared. And we have right here is going to be 21 equals b squared. And I apologize for the background sounds. And that's going to equal 21. All right. And that's what we have for our final answers. So we can find our equation by finding the center, find the major axis, find the vertices that help us our a value, use the foci to figure out the c, and use this equation to figure out the b. So from there, we have our answers. All right, hope this helps out, and good luck with the rest of your problems.